I grew up in a small country town in northeast Victoria called Donehue. Population of about 10 to 15,000, and got two wonderful parents, got a younger brother. And I think for me, in small country towns, there's not really too much else to do apart from catch up with your mates, play footy, those kinds of things. You have a few beers and that kind of stuff with your mates on a weekend. And it was probably, you get into like the mental health side of things. For me, I probably realised that there was something not 100% right with me from about the age of 16. But because it was such a small town, because I was a guy and there was kind of that stigma attached to talking about certain things, I kind of hid it for a long time and I just bottled it up and I didn't really do anything about it. So, for me, it wasn't until after my best mate's 21st birthdays that I actually had the courage to open up and talk to my family and my friends about what I was going through. And exercise has always been a huge part of my life, and I've always played footy. I played footy since I was 3 or 4. But one of the biggest triggers probably for my mental health has always been injuries, and I broke my back when I was 17. And that was probably what got me into, I guess, the gym and the rehab kind of side of things a lot quicker because of the injury, and I wasn't able to play sport for about 18 months. And I realised that, from then on, even though I wasn't really talking about my mental and physical health, I realised that going into the gym actually, released all that, the stress and tension, and made you feel a lot better after doing it. As a young guy, being 17, broken back, missing 18 months of sport, doing all the rehab, going to the doctors, going to specialists and things like that, it actually gave me a little bit of an opportunity to try and work on some different methods and techniques of things I can do to look after myself, and try and work out other things that you can do, because when you take sport away from a young kid, it's not the greatest time. But when I was going through that, I didn't realise that was a trigger for my mental health, and I didn't realise that I was as bad as what I actually was. Yeah, so I broke my coccyx bone and had stress fractures. Yeah, stress fractures in the coccyx bone, had cracks both sides of the spine. So I got tackled playing footy, and I was actually lucky that I got up and ran away. I wasn't running very quickly, and I've probably never run very quickly over my whole life anyway. But for me, it was just impacted me heavily, and I was probably taking it out on the people around me. That year, we actually won the grand final too, so it kind of stung a little bit more. But I'm just fortunate that I was actually able to get up and run away or walk away after doing that injury, because I know that there'd be a lot of people that aren't that fortunate. But yeah, there was just a lot of rehab, a lot of visits to specialists and doctors, and they said that I'd never actually play footy again. But for me, I just wanted to do everything right, try and get the body as good as possible. I'm still trying to play now. So it's gone from a broken back now to more soft tissue injuries that I'm trying to rehab or prehab all the time. Well, for me, like I can still get pain. I had a really rough night's sleep last night, just because the left part of my back and hip was really, really sore, and I don't know if that's from the injury, all those years ago, but it was just getting in the gym as much as I possibly could, and actually resting, because I think you can probably relate to this as a guy. For us guys, it's very hard to actually rest. We want to try and be the strongest or be the toughest, or push through the pain, because we'll show weakness if we don't. And so it was a lot of rest at the start, staying in bed, just sitting there pretty much as long as I could, just to try and get that healing in. But then it was getting involved with the gym, doing different exercises to try and strengthen it up, but also not just the back, but the rest of the body while I was there. And I guess at the time, without me even realising, I was probably strengthening the mind at the same time, going through all that process. And I can remember all of the different specialist appointments where they inject you with the dye. I think you drink the dye, and you can see it going through all the body, so they can see where all the injuries and that are. And that was an interesting experience, but it was just in and out of doctors, specialists, taking regular pain medication to try and get through the pain. And then once I felt like I was comfortable to, go for that run or, start jogging again and get the all clear from the specialist, I was just trying to do it as much as I possibly could. because I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to play footy ever again. And I always joke with people that have had more comebacks to footy than John Farnham has singing, because I just love getting around my mates all the time. But once I did get the body right, I haven't really had any issues with the back ever since, which is a huge bonus. Yeah, well, one of the best exercises I've actually found, from probably like a holistic point of view, is boot camps. So when I was still living in Benalla, I had a really good mate who was a PT there, and he'd run group sessions, do boot camps and things like that. And so this was a few years later, but I'd kind of worked through all the rehab, got into that routine of going to the gym regularly, found myself feeling good physically and mentally. And then for me, I was on antidepressant medication at the time, and I wanted to try and wean myself off that a little bit, because I found that I had better coping strategies in place. I was feeling better. I'd lost a bit of weight, and I was actually feeling good within myself. And went back to the doctor. Came off my medication, which he was happy for me to do, and I felt happy to do that as well. And then I started doing boot camps, and because it was morning sessions, you get out of bed at 20 to 6 in the morning, get the boot camp session done. Some of the time in the country, it was minus 3 or 4 in the morning, and it was really difficult to get out of bed. But it set me up really well for the day. So you'd get the exercise session done, you'd go home, you'd have breakfast, have a shower, go straight to work, and then it allowed you to either have the afternoon off, or you could do extra sessions. So that's probably honestly the fittest I've ever been from doing that type of training with that group, because do the session in the morning, go to the gym at night, either do a weight session or pump out 5 or 6 Ks on the treadmill. So it was just on top of that, and it just made me feel really good mentally. So yeah, I love boot camps. I actually haven't done them since, but just getting in groups or working out with someone else, I think it kind of challenges you or pushes you a little bit more to have a bit of fun. But I'm kind of past the days of where you want to try and bench press 150 kilos or things like that. I'm just training more so for my mental health, because I know that it makes me feel good. Like you said, you can't have mental health without physical health, because they go hand in hand. You eat a burger, or you have have a greasy feed or something on Saturday night, or a few beers or whatever it is. You wake up the next day feeling a bit flatter, and then you're probably not going to eat like healthy food or go to the gym, because you're probably hungover or feeling a little bit flat. So I think I always look at sleep, exercise and nutrition as like the 3 key pillars to look after yourself. I reckon if you've got all of those in check, and you're having a regular sleep routine, exercise routine, and you're eating healthy regularly, I think they're the 3 key things that can really help. So I joined up Crunch last year, so I'm kind of a Crunch newbie pretty much. I live in Melbourne, and there was one only around the corner from me, and I kind of got sick of travelling to the other gyms that I was involved with, and because it was so close, I'd never actually been in there, and I thought, I'm going to give it a go. I think there was a free pass or something that I was given to have a crack at using Crunch, and I walked in, I was like, oh my god, this joint's massive. There's like so much stuff here, there's so much space. There's a nice outdoor area, which was a draw card for me, because like in the summertime, I actually love working out outside, because you sweat more, it feels like you're working harder, and it feels like you got more out of the workout. So joined up there. The other thing that was a bonus for me was the cost. It only costs I think $9.95 a week, whatever it is. It's an absolute bargain for what you can get. So yeah, gave it a crack for that first time, and I came home, spoke to my girlfriend. I was like, this gym's awesome. 1K from home, or I think 2Ks from home. I've got a border collie, so he needs exercise. So in the summertime when it's warmer, I'll walk him from home down there, either tie him up out the front, or the girls on at the reception desk, they get him inside, and they just sit with him and look after him, which is awesome. So it's so close, and there's just so many things. But like any gym, you've got to pick the right time to get in there, because everything can be packed. But I'm fortunate with my work that I can kind of go whenever I really want to. So joined last year and haven't really looked back, because I enjoy it there. I don't mind. Tie flips are pretty good. I don't mind the battle ropes and stuff like that. But for me, it just depends on what mood I'm in. I can go in and I enjoy like sitting on the bench. You can't go past the beach weights. Whether it's biceps, shoulders, chest. It's always a bit of fun. I always joke that I've got the smallest legs in Australia, but it's not because I don't work them. It's just I just can't put size on them. So it makes it challenging. One of the PTs I used to work out with always says that I've got lucky legs, lucky that they don't snap off and go up my ass. So good on him. But like for me, I just try and like my training's changed so much from back in the day where it's you do one muscle group a night or things like that. I'm kind of in the gym now for 45 minutes to an hour and 10 or something like that. I'm just doing a bit of everything. Just so that each body part's copying a little bit of a workout, and I know that I've actually achieved and done something by the time I walk out of the gym. The only thing that I would say, or a bit of advice, is as you walk through the gym, just compare yourself to yourself. There's always going to be someone different in the gym. There'll be someone more ripped or bigger muscles or skinnier, fitter, whatever it is. I think finding your reason of why you're actually going to the gym and not kind of going to impress others or do stuff to look good in front of other people. Surely there's going to be a bit of an element to that with certain exercises that people do, but I think a lot of people that are at the gym are probably more worried about what they're doing than actually judging you or looking at how you look or what you're training and things like that. So the bit of advice I would give, and this is one thing I try and live by all the time, is just compare yourself to yourself. Because once you've got your reason, you've got your goals and the things that you want to do and achieve, the rest will pretty much fall into place. For me, I would tell my younger self to speak sooner. If you're doing things a bit tougher, if you're struggling with life, if things feel like they're a bit heavy and getting you down, there's always someone out there that's willing to help you, whether that is your parents, siblings, cousin, work colleague, sporting teammate, the person you stand next to in the gym. I think if we can talk more about what we're going through, the problems that we have can be really helped by actually talking about those things. Because for me, I thought that opening up and talking about what I was going through was actually going to be the hardest thing. As difficult as it was, once I actually started talking, I realised that putting on the mask and going out in public and pretending to be someone that I wasn't was actually 10 times harder. So once you actually open up and get that stuff off your chest, you can start to chip away and put things in place to actually get back on top of everything and look after yourself. For me, starting more conversations. I'm fortunate, with my work, I get to travel around and do different talks to, universities, schools, sports clubs, about alcohol, drugs and mental health. So for me, it's about starting conversations wherever I am, whether that be in my work role or if it's someone in the gym. Because some of the most rewarding conversations I've had in the last probably 2 years has been in gyms. You get to meet people, and then all of a sudden, for me, like I said to you before, I'm an open book. So when it comes to certain things, I'll just blurt it out because, someone might need to hear it and it might actually make them feel more comfortable about it. Might make them feel really uncomfortable with some of the things that I talk about. But, if it's, a logo on a t-shirt or, something that they've seen on the news and things like that, if we can start conversations in those environments and hopefully people feel safe in the gym because that's the reason that they go there, who knows what could happen. Someone might go home after a conversation and think, I went there to do bicep curls today, but I had a really good conversation with a guy and maybe I'm not 100%. So, I look forward to, every day is a new opportunity to have a conversation with, someone that you already know or a complete stranger. And we don't always know what someone's going through. So if someone looks massive or ripped or, like they're in good shape out on the outside, we don't always know what's going on the inside. So, never judge the book by its cover, as they say, and have a conversation with someone. That's the thing that I'm looking forward to the most, is just meeting new people, networking, in the different environments that I'm in, and starting those conversations about physical and mental health. Thanks for having me. It was good. I just think that every opportunity that you get to share a story or start a conversation, I think it's just important to do it. So, no, thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate it.